The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. It is amazing how people love Africans so much to the point that they can waste their taxpayers' money to come into the continent to protect us. And they have been doing this for decades, yet they don't get tired. And as much as they are protecting the African, our resources that we need to use to take care of ourselves are moving out. Western-backed group called civil society is on it again. They have started again after Burkina Faso Captain Ibrahim Traore. They are now on Mali, claiming that our leader are all in all, the savior, the protector, the unifier, the messiah, the king of kings, the most loud. General Assimi Goïta has brought in Wagner into Mali, and the Malian military and the Wagner group are causing serious damage or abuses to the people in Mali, to the civilians in Mali. So for that matter, it has come to their attention and they have sealed this case at African Court of Human and People's Rights. This is my first time of hearing that there's a court like this, because they claim that the government must be brought to book for causing this, and they don't want to see foreign contractors or foreign military in Africa. And we want to ask them if this is the first time we are having such people in Africa. We have these people all over Sudan. We have them in Congo for decades. These people have been here and the leaders are keeping quiet, and the same African Court of whatever is quiet. Why are they so much interested in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso? The leaders that are doing everything possible to make sure that they give us security. The people who are making sure that the resources in Africa benefits the African. Why are they targeting these leaders and not targeting the places that people have been crying for help? The genocide that we are seeing in Sudan, the same brutality that we are seeing in Congo. These videos are all over. Yet this same so-called civil society isn't seeing what is happening in these countries that every day they are crying, they have been displaced millions. Yet they have eyes to see the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that have kicked them out of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, and they are taking control over the resources. So have you seen how these people always claim they love you, the African? A lot of people will believe that these people are fighting the right cause, protecting us, but they are never here to protect us, because if truly these people are fighting for the African, we have people, our brothers and sisters in Congo, in Sudan, that's what is happening in Nigeria. Yet these people can never be vocal to protect the people, but they are always quick in attacking the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And these are not the countries that have foreign military in our soil. What about the bases that we have all over?
How did they manage to have a channel with the terrorists to get images? How do they do it? And some people even have the nerve to tell us they filmed, I remember once an NGO talking about satellite imagery. They saw Malian forces committing abuses. They're not even ashamed. They don't have the intelligence to know that what they're saying isn't right. Why do I say they don't have the intelligence? It's because they always see black people as subhuman. Otherwise, if you have the capacity to have satellites to see forces committing abuses, but you don't have the capacity to have satellites to see the terrorists.
Breaking news. 3 organizations calling themselves the civil society groups have filed a case at the African Court of Human and People's Rights. I didn't even know what that was. And basically they are accusing Mali's military and the Russian Wagner group of serious abuses against civilians. Now, they say that this is the first known case before this court to hold a state accountable for using private military contractors. This is interesting because these civil society groups don't make themselves known. They don't talk about who is funding them. And it's interesting that they are going for the countries in the Sahel, the countries that have rejected the West. So they are going for Mali, and they say that Mali is using private militaries. Mali is not the only country that uses private militaries. These 3 civil societies have not been to Congo, and Congo is full of private militaries, but they have started off with the countries that have rejected France and the West. They've started off with Mali. And so they have a problem with Wagner Group working in Africa, but all the private securities that are working in the DRC and also other African hotspots, including places like Nigeria or places that have seen huge violence, they have not been mentioned. They don't even say who they are or who funds them or anything like that. I mean, these people are very transparent. You can always tell who is funding who by who they're going against.
I don't think you'd have to be a genius to know that the last thing the Horn of Africa needs is more foreign military bases, more weapons, and more European meddling. What we call our strategic relationship isn't about human flourishing. It's about the EU's ambitions as a superpower. There's now a new great game in the Horn of Africa. Greater and lesser powers are pockmarking the place with military bases. France, the US, China, Germany, Japan, Italy, Saudi Arabia all have a presence in the tiny area of Djibouti alone. Mercenaries are swarming in from all quarters. The entire region is being militarized. War is in the air. And what about the people facing climate and food insecurity? None of this benefits them. We talk about instability, but we only make it worse. We flood the place with weapons, hand over the profits to European arms companies and charge the bill to our citizens. And then with the carnage, we go back in and we do it all again. It's a racket. Strategic relationship, it's one thing after another, isn't it? Really, it's the same as it ever was. And all I can say is, God save Africa from Europeans offering help.
But the truth is, it's a million miles from the reality of EU-Africa trade policy as it exists now. Because our economic relations with Africa are simply a continuation of European colonialism, perpetuating exploitation by other means. Africa trades more with Europe than it does with itself. It's portrayed as a poor continent, but actually it's the richest. It's just that the people there are denied the fruits of their land and their labour by unequal economic relations, by unfair trade rules, by illicit capital flights into the Western banks, and by multinational corporations allowed off the leash by Washington, London and...
Regarding human rights, various international organizations have accused you of actively oppressing the press and civil society. Is there a place for human rights in Burkina Faso?
Are there human rights in Burkina? What do they call human rights? I don't know what they're thinking. No one is going to come here to fund people and brainwash them to destroy our countries. That simply won't happen. Do you know how many NGOs there are in Burkina? Can you imagine? Do some research. It's not even hundreds, it's a lot. I'm not going to give you the number. Do some research. Look into what each NGO actually does. Do you really believe it's humanitarian? So when we fight things like that, they say we're fighting human rights. Is that what human rights are? We are fighting terrorism to keep our people safe. So we give the right to life to our people. That's the first right, isn't it? The right to life. Are we not fighting for human rights? We're fighting to reopen closed schools so that children can go to school. The right to education, isn't that a human right? Who is fighting for us? Who's helping us? These same people who squawk every day about human rights, not one of them has given us a single bullet to fight the terrorism that's killing our children, to fight the terrorism that's closing our schools, that's destroying our schools. This means that the terrorists are fighting against human rights. We are fighting for human rights, and they are encouraging the terrorists. Who is fighting against human rights? That's what they say. I was just telling you about some of the things happening in Europe and all that. But that's where they're fighting against human rights. Otherwise, human rights exist here. And remember one thing, human rights come from Africa. They don't come from anywhere else. They come from Africa and from West Africa, right here. The first charters that spoke of human rights were here, in the AES Confederation, specifically in Mali.
The Kurukan-Fuga Charter.
Kurukan-Fuga. So human rights were known to Africans. We were a well-organized society. Everyone with their rights, even women's rights. It's in Africa that women's rights first existed. Elsewhere, they didn't exist. And it's those people who think they can talk to us about women's rights or human rights. They don't know any rights. Who's talking about human rights? Who bombed and killed children in Libya? Who's bombing children all over the place, dropping bombs indiscriminately, killing children and all that? Is that human rights? That's not what we do. We are fighting for the lives of our people. We protect them. Our soldiers are dying to protect them. We're doing everything to open our schools, to educate them. We're doing everything to subsidize our farmers, to develop agriculture so they can eat their fill. We're doing everything to drill boreholes so that people have clean drinking water. Who is fighting against human rights? It's them. They have no respect for human rights.
The VDP are accused of serious violations. Where do things stand with the promised investigations?
Those who say the VDP are accused of serious violations, what evidence have they presented? We ourselves, when we've caught VDP members in certain acts, they're in prison. Those VDP members are in prison. They know where they are. And we've said anyone who, this isn't someone, listen, we are adults. We are adults. No one should come here and look at us as subhuman. We know what we're doing, and it's that mentality too that's dangerous. Because often certain leaders in the West and all that see Africans as subhuman. And so they come here as if they're the ones who have to teach us things. I told you that the right to life, we're the ones teaching that to the rest of the world. No one teaches us that. So it's true there have been some small problems with certain VDP members. Some have committed blunders and such. They're in prison. We have no qualms about that.
Now, everything they're saying, what proof do they have?
Nothing. It's us, when people accuse us, we do the investigations. And very often we find it's what we call perfidy. The terrorists, they come, they carry out massacres in places, often wearing our uniforms. People even say it's the army. And then they leave.
Sometimes they've come in army uniform?
Yes, but it's not us. They use our flags, everything, our insignia, and then they do it.
And the terrorists publish videos
of that.
But why don't they see?
The terrorists post videos on social media where they're in our uniforms, in our gear and everything. They go and carry out actions. And then they film it, they give it to these people, to these individuals, to say it's the armed forces. They're well aware because they're the ones who go there themselves. How did they manage to have a channel with the terrorists to get images? How do they do it? And some people even have the nerve to tell us they filmed, I remember once an NGO talking about satellite imagery. They saw Malian forces committing abuses. They're not even ashamed. They don't have the intelligence to know that what they're saying isn't right. Why do I say they don't have the intelligence? It's because they always see black people as subhuman. Otherwise, if you have the capacity to have satellites to see forces committing abuses, but you don't have the capacity to have satellites to see the terrorists, you're insulting us then. Here, our whole struggle is for the survival of our people and their security. And we're living well. We're living well. We're in good harmony. Otherwise, well, we wouldn't be able to go where we want. And there you go, we wouldn't be able to act. You can walk around Burkina, you can go everywhere, anywhere you want. You'll see what's changing in Burkina, what the people appreciate about our revolution and everything.
The United States of America is we have France currently establishing one in Kenya, and they are everywhere. These people have their bases all over Africa. Yet because these bases belong to the West, they are quiet about them. Yet they are pointing fingers at Russia. But Russia has never caused any harm to us in Africa. History has made it clear to us that ever since the Africans started, Russia has never meddled in the affairs of Africa, but Russia has always been there to fight to protect the African. But these are the people they are pointing fingers at because they are no longer allowing them to have the resources, to take all the things that they used to get for free. So we don't see the reason to which the same people who are taking our resources out of the continent, and they are not thinking of stopping the things that they are doing to us. Even we hear their own people talking about the things they are doing to us, and then these same people will be the ones who will now be pretending that they are here to set the African free. In which way are they setting us free? If truly these people do not want to be seeing these things happening in Africa, then they should stop taking the resources. Let us have peace. Our leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are fighting a just cause. They are the reason to which a lot of people are returning home for several years that they have run out of their own villages. People are sponsoring the T groups to make sure they continue to destabilize the continent so they can continue to be taking the resources. So if this civil rights society are looking for people to fight for, they should start it in Sudan, they should start it in Congo, they should go to Nigeria and fight for the people and leave Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso leaders who have kicked them out, and they are fighting a genuine cause to make sure that the resources in the continent and in their respective countries benefit the people that they are leading. Stop chasing after the leaders who are doing everything possible to give us freedom. The time for your narrative that you always use to win points to turn us against our leaders is over. We will never rise against our good leaders who are fighting a good cause. This was the same NGOs and whatever you used against Muammar Gaddafi. Today, look at the Libya that you promised the people. Democracy is a system that Africans, we are saying we do not want. We have every right to decide the kind of leadership and governance system we want to have in Africa. We are seeing that China is not a democratic state, yet China is moving forward. Russians are not democratic people, yet they are moving forward. So we also have the right to decide that we don't want to use the system that was imposed on us by our oppressors. So let Africa be. And there are people in Gaza, there are people in Lebanon. Look at what is happening all over. Go and fight for such people and leave Africa alone. We have every right to decide what we think is best for us. And the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are our saviors, and we love them and will continue to fight to protect them. Back off from these leaders and let Africa be, because Africa is not the backyard of anybody. And we are not children, and we are not crying for help. So people should leave the people in the Sahel alone. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Mali.